Crafty Gemini. I post weekly how-to video tutorials right here on my YouTube channel. And in this crochet video, I'm teaching you how to do a single crochet and a double crochet stitch. Now after you have however many chain stitches your pattern or project calls for, then you're going to look and see maybe it has you do something called a single crochet. So here I'm going to show you how to do the single crochet, and these are chain stitches. And when I say the chain stitches, you may get confused as to how many or like where you can differentiate between one stitch from the next. What looks kind of like a V or like a little heart shape there, that is one stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And that's how you can even go back and double check and see if you did as many chain stitches as the pattern called for. So now, say the pattern calls for single crochet in each stitch across, right? So we're going to go right here to the first one. And the first one is going to be this one. In crochet, I think that's going to be the hardest part, is differentiating stitches from the others, or what is your first stitch, what is your last. Sometimes those can be a little tricky. You can see here that where my crochet hook is coming out of, it's out of this top stitch right here. So the first one from the crochet hook is going to be this next one right here. And so if it says single crochet in here, single crochet, you don't grab yarn first, okay? Single crochet, you're going to go with your hook. You always should have one loop obviously on your hook. So we're going to go into the stitch that it tells you. Then you're going to grab some yarn and bring it past the 1. Now you have 2 on your crochet hook. You're going to grab some yarn again and pull through those 2. That's one single crochet. Again, I go into the stitch, then grab yarn, pull out. I have 2 on my crochet hook, grab yarn, pull through 2. That's another single crochet. And I'll show you again. Okay, before you start moving into the next one, you should only have 1 on here when you're doing single crochet. So again, into the stitch you need, grab some yarn, pull through 1. We have 2 left on our hook, grab yarn again, and pull through 2. And you can see what it's starting to look like. Now it's thickening up, right? We just had a chain going straight across, and now we're starting to build and make our fabric from our yarn. And if you get confused, say you stop and you're thinking, oh, do I need to go into this one again? Tug on your crochet hook a little bit, and that way it'll pull up the stitch that you just already did. And that way you see this stitch is in this hole, so we can't go in that same stitch. We got to come over to the next one, if our pattern calls for it, that is. Because sometimes you'll do multiple stitches in the same stitch, but ignore that for now. We're moving on to the next one, so the next stitch is going to be this one. And that's where you want to put your hook, right there, okay? So notice, I'm coming in here, I'm hitting my finger, and I can just slide the hook up, grab my yarn, pull through 1, and look what I'm doing with these 2 is I'm pulling on this to get it out of my way and down. And I'm still keeping tension on the yarn with my 3 fingers back here. Grab yarn again, and pull through both. And here's my last one. So here's a full row of single crochet. Now let's go over double crochet. So when you're stitching in a project, right, and I just went all the way this way with the single crochets, I ended, and now there's nowhere else left to go, you'll see that the pattern tells you to turn. So all I do is turn my project. So now it's on my left side. And I'm still continuing to grab, but now again I have my stitches on this side that I can pick from and do whatever I need to do to them. So now we're going to do double crochet. For double crochet, we start off grabbing yarn. Remember, with the single crochet, we went straight into the stitch. For double crochet, you got to grab first. So grab yarn and then go into your stitch. You can see, remember how we said the different hearts or the V-shaped things are all our individual stitches? So all these little V's is 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitch. Now some projects will tell you, or they might not even tell you in the pattern, but the way they expect you to do it is to loop through both. So you see how I went under both of those? So like the whole V-shaped thing, in the chain stitch we were just grabbing this one, which is the back loop, okay? This would be the front loop, but the way you normally would do it is both. So you got to turn, and it's easier if you turn the hook one direction or the other, so the hook part of the crochet hook doesn't get caught on it, and you slide it under. So now you see how I've pulled both? That's the back loop, and this is the front loop, and I've slipped it through both. So that's how we're going to show you here. And this is where I like to grab my piece this way. Notice I have my pointer on one side of the project and my thumb on the other. And I kind of like to squeeze them to the point where I can see the stitches here in between. I find that this gives me a better visual so I can see exactly where my stitches are and which one is which, so that when I go to grab them, I can really get under there and grab the one that I need to, okay? So here I am. Double crochet. Instead of going straight into the stitch, you got to grab your yarn first. We grab yarn, we go through our stitch, right there you see 1, 2, grab yarn again, go through those 2, grab yarn, go through those middle 2, grab yarn, go through the last 2. So it's all 2, 2, 2, right? We grab yarn first, so it's almost like we have 2 on the hook. Go through your stitch, which is 2 right there. Grab yarn, pull the yarn past those 2, which is 1 stitch, but there's 2 pieces of yarn there. Grab yarn again, go through these middle 2. Grab yarn again, go through the last 2. Now when you get to the end, sometimes it's hard to tell where's the beginning or where's the end of the last stitch, but here's a quick way to look at it. It may look like there's not really a stitch there, but if you stand back and look at your project, you know you've not gotten to the end yet because what? There's a distinct difference, right, in where this row ends to where this one ends, so there must be a stitch there left. So we got to find it. So turn your project all the way this way. Remember, I like to keep it between my pointer and my thumb and squeeze it between my fingers this way until I look for and find that V shape. And I can see that it's right here. So that must be my last stitch. So for the double crochet again, grab my yarn, fit it right through my stitch. I see both parts right there. Grab yarn again, pull through those first 2 loops, grab yarn, pull through these middle 2, grab yarn, pull through the last 2. And now that looks a lot better, and I can tell that I'm at the end of my row. So that is your double crochet. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. The single crochet and the double crochet are really the basic of a gazillion different projects and patterns that you'll come across on the web. So I hope that you'll just take these 2, practice them really well, create a ton of different projects using them, and then you can move on to even more complex things. But you'll be surprised how many different types of projects and embellishment ideas you can create with these 2 simple crochet stitches. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, hit it with the thumbs up below, share it across the different social media sites, and don't forget to click the subscribe button so you won't miss out on any of my future videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.